acknowledge the distinguished leaders who made this day possible. The Honorable Wright, Secretary of Energy, the Honorable Michael Duffey, Secretary of War, the Honorable Senator Curtis, John Schwartz of Utah, Dr. Ethan Klein, Chief Technology Officer of the United States. Each of them flew alongside our reactor today aboard a C-17 from March Air Reserve Base. And I think that says something more powerful than anything that I could say in a speech. I extend my gratitude to this administration's willingness to get on the ground and get their hands dirty and work together to rebuild American technological supremacy. I also want to extend my deep gratitude to the Honorable Governor Spencer Cox and the people of Utah for welcoming us here to Hill Air Force Base and for the state's continued partnership as we bring the War 250 reactor to life in Utah at the San Rafael Energy Research Center in Orangeville. Governor, Utah's leadership on advanced nuclear energy has been indispensable, and we're incredibly proud to be here. Thank you. Today, the United States Air Force airlifted a next-generation nuclear reactor across the American West. That sentence would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. It is a testament to what becomes possible when the private sector, the Department of Energy, the Department of War, and state leadership share a common purpose: restoring American dominance in nuclear technology. The Department of War has been pursuing the vision of rapidly deployable nuclear power since the 1960s. For decades, it remained out of reach. The ability to deliver reliable, independent power to our warfighters, power that does not depend on vulnerable supply lines, diesel convoys, or a contested grid, is not an academic exercise. It's a strategic necessity. Every forward operating base, critical installation, and node of our defense infrastructure needs to depend on energy that an adversary cannot easily disrupt. What landed on this runway today brings that long-sought capability a step closer to that reality. And none of this would be possible without the Department of Energy. Secretary Wright and his team have led the charge on the nuclear reactor pilot program under Executive Order 14301, cutting through decades of inertia to stand up a framework that makes nuclear possible. The Department of Energy's commitment to meeting the President's directive to have an advanced reactor operating on U.S. soil by July 4th of this year has been extraordinary, and Valor Atomics is honored to be a part of that mission. Abundant, scalable energy is the foundation of national strength. Coal built the industrial age, oil won the wars of the 20th century, and nuclear energy, deployed at scale, at speed, and with American ingenuity, will power the century ahead. That is what Valor Atomics was founded to deliver, and that is what this program represents. I'll keep my remarks brief because the leaders standing here with me today are better positioned to speak to the full significance of this effort. But I want to leave you with this. Before July 4th of this year, America's 250th birthday, we intend to achieve criticality at USREL with this reactor in the C-17 standing behind me here. That is our commitment to this administration, to the people of Utah, and to this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. At this time, we welcome the Honorable Michael Duffey, Undersecretary of War for Acquisition and Sustainment, to the stage.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here on this historic occasion. Before I begin, I want to thank the organizations and leaders who made today possible. First, to the air crew supporting today's flight, and the teams at March Air Reserve Base and Hill Air Force Base. Thank you for seamlessly executing this mission. To Secretary Wright and the Department of Energy, thank you for your leadership and collaboration in advancing this critical work. And of course, Governor Cox and Senator Curtis, it's great to be here with you today in the great state of Utah. I can't think of a better place for this monumental occasion. Utah's expanding defense industrial base footprint wouldn't be possible without your leadership. I also want to thank President Trump and Secretary Hegseth for creating the conditions and providing the leadership to allow our industry and our government to move at the speed of relevance to deliver capability for our warfighter. It's clear to me that advancing President Trump's priority on nuclear energy depends on close coordination between the Department of Energy and the Department of War. This partnership ensures advanced nuclear technologies are developed, evaluated, and deployed in ways that strengthen energy resilience and national security. As you all know, modern warfare is power hungry. The grid was not designed for the energy demands of AI and data centers, directed energy weapons, advanced sensors and ISR, or space and cyber infrastructure. Powering next-generation warfare will require us to move faster than our adversaries, to build a system that doesn't just equip our warfighters to fight, but equips them to win at extraordinary speed. Today is a monumental step towards building that system. By supporting the industrial base and its capacity to innovate, we accelerate the delivery of resilient power to where it's needed. The very technologies we need to secure our future are being perfected in commercial labs faster than in our own. Yet our current acquisition system is a fortress built to keep innovation out. The gap between the speed of the commercial world and the drag of doing business as usual has never been so vast, and the consequences of doing nothing to address this gap are severe. While the United States has allowed much of our domestic energy manufacturing capacity to atrophy, our adversaries have built an energy industrial base that can design, manufacture, and deploy advanced power systems at wartime scale. Our adversaries have accelerated production of critical energy technologies, from nuclear components to grid equipment and advanced batteries, giving them an advantage in supply chain control that directly affects defense readiness and mobilization. The starting gun for the 21st century arms race has already fired, and the slow pace of innovation and development in past administrations is a strategic vulnerability. It's not just weapons that deter adversaries. Our installations are critical to America's position as a global military power. Somewhere on the front lines, our mission readiness is compromised by aging infrastructure and fragile energy systems at home. Our slow, outdated systems are turning what should be one of our strongest assets into a liability. A resilient domestic energy supply is not a luxury. It is a necessity of national security. But it does not have to be this way. We are working towards a different future, an arsenal of freedom built by acquisition agility. We are empowering our acquisition leaders to forge true partnerships with industry, tearing down the walls that have until now kept innovative companies away. We want and need the best ideas, the best people, and the fastest work, not just the lowest bid. We are working closely with partners like the Department of Energy, challenging the brightest minds in our labs, startups, and corporations to solve our hardest problems, like protecting the military installations against grid failures and cyber attacks that threaten our energy supply chains. We must unleash innovation, not constrain it. This transformation is a necessity. Our military installations are reliant on a fragile civilian grid for the majority of our electricity. In an era where enemy cyber attack and sabotage or extreme weather can take out the grid at any moment, failure to evolve our domestic energy infrastructure will be catastrophic. Today is a critical step towards a stronger future. We are bringing forward speed and agility to solve the critical challenges faced by our installations and our nation, while building momentum to improve the speed, safety, and effectiveness of advanced nuclear reactor testing. Access to nuclear power can be leveraged when and where it is needed most, and brings our nation's warfighters the security, capability, and peace of mind necessary for them to execute their missions with maximum lethality. Our mission is to serve as that critical link that connects the warfighter's problems with the innovator's solution with the least possible friction. Today was a tremendous demonstration and another step forward on that mission to create a military so agile and advanced and a nation so industrially resilient that no adversary will dare test our resolve. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Undersecretary Duffey. At this time, we welcome the Honorable John Curtis, United States Senator for the state of Utah, to the stage.
General, thank you for hosting. To my very, very good friends at Hill Air Force Base, you're the best. Thank you, and please know of my full support. Well, I'm so pleased to be here today with Secretary Wright, Undersecretary Duffey, Governor Cox, and Isaiah and your team. These four men over here, sitting here, all represent a couple of themes that are so critical. That's innovation and vision. That's what this is about today. We're here on a historic day because the combination of these four people's innovation and vision. Governor Cox, thank you for your vision that Utah can lead in this, that we must lead in this. Secretary Wright, thank you for busting up all the government bureaucracy and making this happen. And Secretary Duffey, you as well. And Isaiah, somehow the dream to believe that you could put a nuclear reactor on a C-17 cargo jet and fly it to Utah and install it here in Utah. That is something I am so incredibly proud of, that Utah plays a role of this. The history books will actually write about this day, the innovation that these people have distributed. But what I'm not so sure will be in the history books is the real story of innovation that I want to just briefly share with you. And that's sitting here on the front row, the county commissioners from Emory and Carbon County, who dared to dream, and not just them, but their predecessors, who dared to dream that their counties could play a national, international role in energy and energy innovation. Who would have thought when they started this years ago that a nuclear facility would be in their counties and they would be leading not just the state, but the country in innovation? So thank you. And thank you to all the residents who have supported this. And thank you to the state for recognizing the importance of this and stepping in when the county of just several thousand people needed a few extra resources. I've long said that bolstering nuclear technology is critical to energy independence. This morning I was reflecting on 1973 and 1974, when a foreign entity held us hostage for energy. And we decided at that time, in a nonpartisan way, that we would never be dependent on a foreign power for energy again. And just a few years ago, when we reached that spot where we knew we could be energy independent, the whole energy world changed. And all of a sudden, we found this rapid growth in energy. And once again, the challenge of not knowing, just like we didn't know in 1973, how we were going to become energy independent. And it's projects like this that will ensure we will never be dependent on an adversary or a foreign entity for power. As a matter of fact, this will make sure they are dependent on us. National security and way of life is what this is all about. I was also grateful that last year President Trump signed my Advanced Nuclear Reactor Prize Act into law. This legislation was built on a simple premise. If we want innovation in this space, we should reward the innovators by providing grants to pay back the heavy licensing fees for first-of-their-kind technology. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this. Thank you to our county commissioners. And just wait, because a whole lot more as good is coming from Utah. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Curtis. At this time, we welcome the Honorable Spencer Cox, Governor of the state of Utah, to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor it is to be here with you on this very special day. I want to thank my dear friend Senator Curtis for being one of the good guys working with President Trump to help us get this done. And Isaiah, congratulations. We've talked about this for a long time. You told me it was going to happen, and I believed you, and you were right. But it doesn't happen without our incredible friends at the federal government who have worked so hard to bring us here. You've heard from them already. You're about to hear from Secretary Wright, Undersecretary Duffey. Thank you for your leadership as well. We're so privileged to have you. Now, we are standing on one of the most important military installations in the United States. We're proud of our generals and everybody who is here making this one of the most important military installations in the world. Hill Air Force Base represents American readiness, deterrence, and innovation. Today, is about strengthening that readiness for the next century. Energy is not just an economic issue, although it is that. It is a national security issue as well. And America cannot project strength abroad if we lack reliable, deployable power at home and in the field. Utah is not hesitant about advanced nuclear. We want it, we're building it, and we are ready to lead. Through Operation Gigawatt, we have set an ambitious but necessary goal to double Utah's energy production over the next few years. That includes advanced nuclear, geothermal, storage, and next-generation grid modernization. We are laying the legal, regulatory, workforce, and infrastructure groundwork right now. This is not theoretical, this is execution. And it's not lost on any of us the symbolism of flying a nuclear reactor from California to Utah. Now, I want to thank President Trump. His directive on deploying advanced nuclear technologies for national security is absolutely clear. America must be able to deploy reliable, resilient power anywhere that our mission requires. That's what today represents. It's not a concept, it's a real demonstration of capability. Utah is proud to be a partner in turning our national strategy into operational reality. Utah is uniquely positioned to lead the future of energy, not only in the civilian space, but for our national security. Utah has a strong military presence, as you can see here today. We have National Guard leadership, advanced manufacturing capability, a growing nuclear and energy innovation ecosystem, and a regulatory climate that supports responsible deployment. Advanced reactors, like what we're seeing here today from Isaiah and his team, allow us to power forward operating bases, support humanitarian missions, restore power after natural disasters, and strengthen grid resilience on domestic bases. We are building the ecosystem necessary to support advanced nuclear generation from research and workforce training to deployment and long-term operations. The next step is activation right here in Utah. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in history when technologies redefine what is possible in a nation. Advanced nuclear for national security belongs in that lineage. Utah intends to lead that story, and today you are all part of making history. Operation Gigawatt is not a slogan. It is a commitment to build energy capacity that powers economic growth, military readiness, and national strength. We are again grateful to Secretary Wright and Undersecretary Duffey for their leadership in this space. They are knocking down barriers and walls every single day, restoring American dominance. Thank you, Valor, for leading this innovation. The future of American security is being built, and it's being built here in Utah.
Thank you, Governor Cox. At this time, we welcome the Honorable Chris Wright, United States Secretary of Energy, to the stage.
Thanks to everyone for being here today. President Trump promised the American people that he would unleash American energy dominance and that he would launch American nuclear renaissance. And he is delivering big time. Nothing symbolizes that, I think, more clearly than what happened today. In our awesome American military, in a C-17 plane, a 5-megawatt Valor Atomics nuclear reactor was just flown from LA to this Air Force base here in Utah. Incredible. 5-megawatt reactor that powers 5,000 homes, flown in the back of a plane. President Trump also promised that America would do big, bold, great things again. This is America, after all. We only got here by doing big, bold, great things. And in the area of nuclear, During World War II, in less than 3 years, we gathered a team of engineers and scientists and innovators, finished understanding the basic nuclear physics required to build a bomb, designed, engineered, constructed, tested, and delivered in less than 3 years a nuclear bomb. This brought World War II to an earlier than otherwise would have happened end, saving tens, if not hundreds of thousands of American lives, and ushering in a more peaceful age, because the costs of war grew higher. We launched soon after that a nuclear industry, and we built over 100 nuclear reactors relatively rapidly. Then we let bureaucracy get in the way. We created the Nuclear Regulatory Commission over 40 years ago, and since then, we've permitted, approved, and built 2 nuclear reactors. We stopped an emerging technology dead in its tracks. The American nuclear renaissance is to get that ball moving again, fast, carefully, but with private capital, American innovation, and determination. President Trump signed multiple executive orders that have unleashed tremendous reform of all the things that stopped the American nuclear industry from moving. The advanced pilot reactor program that you're seeing today, 10 small reactors will be quickly licensed or have been licensed through the Department of Energy. Before they sell commercial power, they'll be licensed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. But we've moved quickly to get multiple reactors critical by July 4th of this year, the 250th anniversary of our country. We went 40 or 50 years without building much in the nuclear space, and from executive orders only about 12 months ago, before July 4 of this year, we will have multiple nuclear reactors critical. That's speed, that's innovation, that's the start of a nuclear renaissance. We have programs to launch uranium enrichment, so we can create enriched uranium in the United States again. Those are moving ahead rapidly. Fuel fabrication in our country. And get a regulatory regime that's focused on 3 things: safety, safety, and safety. It's replacing one that was focused on bureaucracy, safety, and bureaucracy. Safety is critical with nuclear energy, critical. But of course, you can deliver safety best by focusing on safety, just safety. That can be done efficiently, quickly, and with improved performance than we've had before. Energy matters. It matters massively. It matters for our economy, it matters for our national security, it matters for our quality of life. Our administration is all in to better energize our country and the world around us. And as already mentioned by one of my colleagues over there, it's ironic, or not ironic, that we loaded a nuclear reactor in California and flew it to Utah. California today produces massively less energy than it produced 20 years ago. Less oil, less natural gas, less total energy. Even its electricity production is on the decline. How are we going to reshore manufacturing, lead in AI, drive next-generation technologies with policies that are shrinking the production of energy? Only 1 billion people live the wonderful lives that all of us in this hangar do. I'll tell you, 7 billion people, they want beautiful lives like we have. Americans all across our country want lower energy bills, more advanced manufacturing jobs, more job opportunities to raise their wages. If I could summarize the Trump economic agenda, it's lower prices, raise wages. Doesn't sound like rocket science, but to do both of those, you need massively more energy. Utah, in contrast to California, has surging production of oil, surging production of natural gas, still the cornerstones of American energy today, and next-generation geothermal coming, under construction today, and clearly is set to be a leader in this next-generation nuclear technology. I celebrate that very proudly here in the state of Utah. Let me end with the storm we just had. That cold weather, due to a big dip in the jet stream, that's made, unfortunately, the ski mountains in the west warm and dry, has made the eastern half or more, where there's far more people living, very cold. Washington, D.C. has been covered in snow for weeks. During that cold storm, that's the most critical time for the delivery of energy. The number one use of energy is to keep people warm. Millions of people would die and could not live what they live today if not the energy to heat them. We had the record ever withdrawal from natural gas, which is a marker of peak energy demand ever in our country, in the eastern 22 states. What happened with energy production at that time? It has to rise massively. You have to heat people's homes, you have to run factories, you have to deliver electricity. Things got pushed to the edge. Nuclear power rocked steady, delivered at capacity across the whole East Coast. Wind power averaged over the whole storm dropped 40% when you needed it most. In New England, let me give one example. In New England, at peak power demand, very cold, grid fragile, pushing to the edge, wind, solar, and batteries delivered 2% of the electricity into the New England electrical grid. Burning trash and wood delivered 3%. You know, what kept the lights on was, unfortunately, oil was the biggest source of electricity generation in New England at peak demand time. That's just a region that's standing in the way of common sense energy development. Natural gas and nuclear were the backbones of electricity in New England. We want to see an America where we grow our energy production, we grow our opportunities, and nuclear has the brightest future in not just the coming years, the coming decades, and the coming centuries. God bless the American military that allows us to sleep safely and raise our children with optimism about their future. Everything they do has made our country and our world a better place. We've seen a number of demonstrations of the awesome capabilities of that military in the last few months, last year and a half, and we saw today that they can transport a nuclear reactor in a couple hours to a state that wants it and will have it running soon. God bless President Trump's leadership and his bold belief in unleashing American energy and truly launching an American nuclear renaissance. And God bless the American people. Thank you all.
Thank you, Secretary Wright, and all of our speakers. Thank you, everyone.